Welcome, everybody. Today's topic is going to be on we have a new king. We have a new king, people. England has a new king, and all of England's territories has a new king. The monarchy reign under Queen Elizabeth has ended. On March 31st, 2020, and please make note of that date, King John III has asserted his position as the new King of England. That's right, the new King of England. On April 5th, a statement of claim was made and a declaration was delivered and confirmed to and by Queen Elizabeth, Charles, Philip, Camilla, Edward, Archbishop of Canterbury, the Prime Minister of Britain, the Prime Minister of Russia, Putin, and President Donald Trump all have come together and support this claim as truth. The British monarchy was a fraudulent monarchy, so the legal documents say. Queen Elizabeth was declared, at some point in history, was declared the daughter of King George V of England. But that was an illegitimate, fraudulent claim. It was a lie. According to the new legal documents and these claims, Elizabeth is actually the true daughter of Alexander, the Tsar of Russia, which makes her Russian and therefore makes her titles completely null and void, and everybody in her family. So what does this mean? It means that King John III, and his real name is Joseph Gregory Hallett, will now step in to rule. And this is what he's going to rule. He's going to rule England, the UK, Great Britain, United Kingdom of Great Britain, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Prince of Wales, Europe, all of Europe, India, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the Commonwealth of Nations as Prince of Region or Duke Governor of all of North America, which would include Mexico and the United States. So what this essentially means is he owns the world. And also he's going to govern all of the territories that France, England, and the United States own, like in the Caribbean and all the various islands. Okay, so this virtual unknown, this steps forward in the world, Joseph Gregory Hallett, who now owns the world. All right, so let's look at his lineage. Okay, his lineage is like this. Queen Anne Boleyn was to be beheaded in the 1500s, but somehow she avoided execution like so many of these elitists do, never dying in 1536 in the Tower of London. Now, the Queen's grandson was the famous Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh was born and earned the title of Christ. Let me say that again. He was born with and earned the title of Christ. And he carried that title between 1596 and 1610. So, according to this lineage and to historical records, Sir Walter Raleigh was, in fact, the Christ. And all documents show on this lineage. Okay, so Joseph Gregory Hallett, though I don't know exactly the date, I haven't looked it up, was born on Rosh Hashanah. He is the 10th great-grandson of the Christ, Sir Walter Raleigh. This means according to the family lineage, that he, King John III, John Gregory Hallett, is the born Christ, Messiah. And in other documentation and further documentation, and we won't go into it on this call, King Arthur. Yes, that's right. King Arthur is and was the Christ, or Christ was King Arthur, and is now John III. Okay, so allegedly, his stepping into this role reinvigorates the true English royal Holy Grail lineage. I'll say that again. The true English royal Holy Grail lineage. Also newly named the Christian mystery lineage. He thus has inherited the title of Christ from his 10th generation great-grandfather, Sir Walter Raleigh. Is this a boom bam or what? Because only the Christ lineage, according to King John III, can hold title as king or queen of England. So this is how Joseph has now assumed the British monarchy. And not only did the Queen confirm this, but Pope Francis confirmed that Queen Anne Boleyn was never executed, and that Joseph Gregory Hallett is indeed the successor to the true throne of England. Now, Queen Anne Boleyn was born also with the title of Christ. So that means that it's not just men that carry that title, but women carry that title because it's a lineage title. It's not a person. Now, Queen Anne was the descendant of Eleanor of Aquitaine, the queen consort of France. Queen Anne is of the royal blood lineage of Queen Victoria. Now, here's another boom on this lineage. And this pictorial is found on the link that I'll give at the end of this audio. But Queen Victoria's gold monogram has both the blood print of Christ, allegedly, and, get this, a white rabbit. A white rabbit, people. So essentially, what this is saying, because the Christ is the Holy Grail itself, this lineage is the Holy Grail itself, this also means that the white rabbit is the logo of the Holy Grail and the Christ lineage. And all of this, again, I will repeat, is public knowledge. So Queen Elizabeth has been issued an order to transfer all titles, etc., into the custody of Joseph Gregory Hallett without conflict or, and listen to this word, mass death of people. Now, there can be death of people, and there can be many deaths of many people. It just can't be a mass death of people in order for the crown to be exchanged. This is why all of the family crests are gone from the English monarchy right now, and all the royal family has fled the throne. They've abdicated the crowns, and they all have gone into hiding. This is why Prince Harry and his wife have fled to Canada, and William, I believe, I don't know where he went, I don't know, South America, whatever, but they've all spread out and they've gone into hiding. All legal documents are registered, confirmed, and certified and received by the placeholder, who was Prince William. Prince William was the placeholder because he was the next in line for the throne. So he has been served, both registered, confirmed, and certified legal documents. Okay, let's do some dates. On April 1st, okay, so March 31st, 2020, Joseph Gregory Hallett was announced quietly and secretly that he is the new King of England and territories and etc. Okay, April 1st, 2020, Joseph Gregory Hallett delivered certified legal documents to Queen Elizabeth, Pope Francis, and 10 other high-level people stating who he is, that he's the king, that he's of the Christ lineage, etc. On April 10th, 2020, Pope Francis announces that Joseph Gregory Hallett, the Christ, or is the Christ, on Easter, Ishtar, Friday. Okay, there's a video of this. I haven't found it, but it would be nice to hear him say this. Okay, on April 21st, Queen Elizabeth announces via Ashley Mattingly that Joseph Gregory Hallett, as the main sovereign, stamping it as, and listen to these words that I'm going to say to you, as the main sovereign, stamping it as central tribulations. Okay, write that down. That's important. On April 22nd, on the day of Miss March, Playboy Bunny, Kim Jong-un, suicided. Okay? Miss March, March 31st, 2020, the announcement of the king. Miss March, the Playboy Bunny, the white rabbit, Kim Jong-un, suicides. Then she miraculously is resurrected 3 days later to state that she did not die. Okay? Thus, this is creating the third month, 3 days, resurrection, creating anagrams of the 3.3.3 Codex. And on that day, on the 3.3.3, it was announced that Joseph Gregory Hallett is also the King of Israel. Okay, so King of England and King of England and all of its territories, and King of North America, and also King of Israel. Israel. That's important too. Remember, Israel. Okay, so just a reminder, Playboy, the white rabbit, okay, that's the logo on the monogram of Queen Victoria's. The rabbit ears is equivalent to the devil horns, okay? They're talking about the death and resurrection like the Christ, and therefore the Christ was reborn and resurrected, meaning resurrected on March 31st of 2020. He is the King of Israel now. And just so we know, on the date, April 22nd, 2020, when you do that in numerology, I did it, 20, 22, and 4 equals 2046, which breaks down to the number 12, the 12 disciples. 3.3.3, okay, Jesus died at 33, allegedly. Okay, so there's the 33 with the 12 disciples. On April 23rd, 2020, Prince William and the NHS acknowledges Joseph Gregory Hallett, Christ, as the new Hallett sovereign. Again, write that down. That's going to be a new terminology. The new Hallett sovereign. But also announced that Joseph Gregory Hallett, the Christ, is Isis. I-S-I-S. Isis. Also as the chosen Christ, and also the King of England. Prince William coded out on the big night using the term, quote, the emperor with new clothes is here, unquote, because it's all a game to these people, and they have to do everything in symbols, codes, and secrets. Okay, so while all of this is happening secretly, the coronavirus outbreak occurs. First in Wuhan, China, in the later part of 2019, quietly until it just explodes onto the global news, the media, and then it comes to Europe, the Western world, and it comes to North America, the Western world, right? Okay, so on March 31st, the coronavirus explodes into the Western world. On March 31st, the King John III takes his allegedly rightful position as King of England. And again, as we all know, corona means crown. So thus the entire virus hoax was created to hide the new change of the guards of the royal Ishtar, Baal, Horus, Isis, El, Elohim, crown. Da-da-da-dum. Okay, so moving along now, along with President Trump, the new Joseph Gregory Hallett Christ is here to issue in the new nesara, which is for America, for the United States only, and gesara for the world laws. Not only the laws, but economy. Okay? Here's a little tidbit for everybody to know, because Donald Trump played a key role in all of this happening. Okay? And how that happened, that's a whole nother program. But let me say this. Donald Trump has been put into position to do all of this by the second beast system. And part of this system is the nesara and gesara. Interestingly, Donald Trump's dad's middle name is, in fact, and you can see on legal documents, Christ. Yes, my friends, his middle name is Christ. And also, interestingly, Donald Trump's mother's first name is Mary. Okay? And I'm sure not for Mother Mary, but for Mary Magdalene. And that's a whole nother thing. So Dad's Christ, Mom's Mary, Donald comes in. He's playing a key role in bringing the Christ to the throne. Additionally, I do want to say that, and many of us know, that Donald Trump's uncle, who lived in the era of Tesla, was able to somehow confiscate all of Tesla's work, keep it locked away for safekeeping, and so Donald Trump and his family line holds all of Tesla's work. So I'm just going to put that in there. Okay, so now here's the thing of what they're saying about this great King John III. Okay, they're saying that once he takes rulership in front of the world, he steps out and he becomes active king, that he is going to remove us from slavery. Okay, under the nesara-gesara laws, there will be no taxes. All debts will be wiped clean and forgiven. All pensions will be floating there for seniors to be cared for really well. All the 6,000 patents that Trump's family is holding on to will be released. Free energy will be released. And cures for every disease will be known, so all human beings will be healed from every disease in existence known to man. And then money will be returned to the people. Now, all of this was supposed to happen on September 11th, 2001. But the problem is the old guard didn't want to let it go. They didn't want to be outed, and they didn't want to let go of their rulership, or what we call their reign over the lands of this world. So that would look like, of course, the English monarchy, the Vatican, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bush, Kennedy, Onassis, Kissinger, all of them, right? Clintons, all of them, Obamas, all of them. So Building 7 held all of the FBI, CIA secret files in it that spoke of everything that they've done, all parts of their rulership that was criminal and inhumane. And before the second beast took control or the new system came in, September 11 happened so that all of those documentations would fall, be destroyed, and at the same time they would lengthen their rule and their reign. At the same time, they would be able to put in and install surveillance and the Patriot Act and all the things that have happened since September 11, like the war on terrorism, bombing out allegedly bin Laden, and Kamini, and all these guys, all these players, so that they can take these chess pieces and put them around the globe and get the power under control as the new system walked in, but the old system would walk out very clean. Okay. So basically they say now that we will return to constitutional law. But now you have to understand when we lost constitutional law. So we lost constitutional law in 1720 under the Treaty of Haud. And most people think we have constitutional law. We don't. We have statutory law. We have maritime law that runs us. But we do not have constitutional law. That ended in 1720. Also, just so you know, the Illuminati was born at the same time as the Treaty of Haud in that time period of the early 1700s. Therefore, constitutional law was replaced by maritime law. So what's going to happen allegedly under this is that constitutional law, which would mean land laws, will be restored. No longer will we be run under maritime law, will it be run under land law, okay? And that's just like what Deborah Tavares spoke of on her new YouTube video where she's interviewed on May 29th, that all of the world will be restored to prior industrial age, which would be the early to mid-1700s. Okay? Now, this all sounds fantastic, doesn't it? I mean, no debts, taxes, etc. But we'll go on. But I would like to end this part of the information by reading and sharing a prayer that was allegedly written by Joseph Gregory Hallett the Christ. And I really want you to listen to the wording and to the verbiage and understand what the trajectory is. All right, the prayer. To that which gave birth to the cosmos, immerse me in your fire of creation. Render me wise with love and equity to share. Free me from karma, those around me from debt, and ensure I have enough to live on. My hands and heart are ready. Animate the earth beneath my feet and set my heart free. Let your harmony vibrate my will. Immerse me in a sound and light so that I may experience your breath of light, and let my will be a fractal of your harmony, vibration. Give lively strength to my true purpose and renew me as a song of beauty from age to age. I return my vibrating light and sound into your astonishing cosmic fire. This, my friends, is called the Great Awakening, the Great Reset, the Rapture, that which all people, whether they're truthers, or they're Christians, they're Jews, or they're light workers and New Agers, this is what they're talking about, the Great Awakening, the Great Rapture, and the Great Reset. And at this point, I'm going to warn all of you to not be smitten with all that I just said, that to let me go on and to listen, because not is all that it seems. At this point, Queen Elizabeth has been told that she must remain behind closed doors. And as we know, an announcement was made that to protect her from the coronavirus, she needs to stay inside. So what she did is she abdicated the throne to her son, Prince Charles, which was bullshit. And they thought we wouldn't remember that Prince Charles already abdicated his throne to Prince William when William was too small to take it, so that he, Prince Charles, could marry Camilla. And they were waiting for Prince William to come of age and to get established, and the Queen then to step down. So there really wasn't any true abdication of the throne. The truth is King John III has come in to take the throne away, and the corona meaning the changing of the crowns. All right. So now, King John III allegedly moved into Buckingham Palace on May 19, 2020. And I just want to break that down in numerology, the way they break things down, because they all speak in codes. 2020, 19, and 5. That would be 2044. 2044 breaks down to a 10. A 10 breaks down to a 1. And a 1 means new beginnings. Okay? So King John III moved into the Buckingham Palace on May 19th, 2020, which is numerologically number 1, new beginnings. So why the name King John of England? Okay. Spoken by King John himself, he states that his 22nd great-grandfather back was King John I. King John I was actually a madman. I could talk about that a little bit later on in a different audio, but he was known as a madman. Okay, and then the second was Prince Michael's Manuel, who was King John II, another grandfather of his, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and all of Ireland. So, to carry the title of the Christ, you have to be a John. And to be the king, he needed to take the title of John of England, or any related aspect of John, because in order to carry the name of Christ and also the name of San Grail, meaning King John of England or any related aspect of that, you have to be the San Grail or the Christ to carry the name King John, and King John is the San Grail or the Christ, according to his lineage. Donald Trump, with the backing of Putin, was a key instrumental player in assisting in forging Joseph Gregory Hallett Christ King John III into position to take over the kingdom of the world. Trump allegedly had taken over the British Empire until Joseph Gregory Hallett moved into position. Can you imagine Donald Trump had to maintain the United States of America during this horrible coronavirus pandemic, and also all of the territories and all of the things he has to do with Israel and everything else, and then take care of the British Empire until Joseph could take over? It's unimaginable. And you all and I say we're overwhelmed. Okay, there's a little sarcasm there. Okay, so now I just want to bring up, do you remember the time that Trump and Putin met in private? And because it's United States and Russia, we never meet in private. There's always other beings around. But Trump and Putin said they had to meet just the two of them in private, which was totally unheard of. Okay, just a reminder on that. And also to remind you all, do you remember the first time that Trump met publicly with the Queen of England, and the Queen of England was shooting daggers at him? There's a protocol in which people have to, all people have to take when meeting with the Queen, kissing her hand and standing behind her and all these different things. And Trump met none of the protocol. He went to take her hand and she pulled away, shooting daggers at him. And also he was supposed to stand behind, but he stood beside her. And then what happens is that when they begin to walk down the red carpet greeting all that's on the side, the Queen goes first with everybody following, a few steps behind. And Trump moved in front of her and walked ahead of her. And right then and there, the world was agap going, oh, my God, he didn't follow protocol. That made Trump look like a renegade, like, yes, he is going to save America. So that's what pushed people who like Trump further into his pocket, his lap. And all the other people looking and astonished, like, what the hell is going on? But the truth is they were already moving into position, the second beast system, to move into position to take control. And we just didn't know it. But that was one of the actions taken to show the world that the new system was rolling in. So I just wanted to remind you all. In an interview of our new king, an interviewer there's two interviewers, an older guy and a younger guy. Everybody on the Corona webcams, just so you know. But one of the interviewers brought up, and notice this, brought up Q white hats, patriots, and Trump, bringing also up the treaty signed in 1720 that enslaved America to the monarchy and to taxation. So if you notice that they brought up Q, white hats, Trump, patriots all together, and so we know who this King John III is aligned to. Again, it's showing now the QAnon bullshit. All right, so the taxes, what happened in 1720 when America was slave to the monarchy and the new taxation, is that now all of the taxes that America or the United States of America, the colonies, collected never went into a Federal Reserve, because that was newer, never went into the American economy. It was all sent to London, who was the world economic owner, so to speak, and then it was siphoned to the Vatican, who truly does own the world economy and is the very entity that has been enslaving us. So it went to London, and yes, it was moved through the centralized banking system owned by the Rothschilds and also run through the monarchy, so to speak. Everything is very interwoven, and I'm just speaking loosely about it. But it was all siphoned into the Vatican. So Joseph Gregory Hallett admits that the 33rd Freemasons, the 33rd degree Freemasons, who live on Malta and who are part of the Vatican, or is the Vatican itself in charge of the money supply. Now, all of those beings, the 33 degree Masons, have been executed out of the Vatican under the title of Christ, because only the Christ could have maneuvered that, all right? Nobody else allegedly had the power to maneuver and execute these Vatican players, or these 33 degree Masons, out of the Vatican itself. Now, at the same time as King John was doing that, Trump, during the time of his election, where he was not yet elected as president, but he was moving towards that at the end of the election period and up into the inauguration itself in the beginning in January 2017, somehow manifested this great and magical power, like the great Oz itself, and absorbed all of the money out of the Vatican into the Treasury, into the Treasury of the United States. So he wasn't yet president, but he was already navigating those waters where he was absorbing all of the money. That's trillions and trillions of dollars worth of money and gold. That's why they're saying that nesara and gesara are all going to be backed by gold, because all the gold was kept in the Vatican itself or in the chambers of Buckingham Palace, right? So it's all been confiscated, and it's all been moved into the Treasury by Trump, who is not yet president. Okay, so we see that we don't elect presidents. They're all selected. So this means that the Vatican is no longer in control of the money supply, and Joseph Gregory Hallett has been named and certified, now here's another part of it, as the Pope of Christ. And that was done on Ishtar Friday, Easter, okay? And yes, I know Easter Sunday and all that. Okay, doesn't matter. I know, Ishtar Friday. So now he is King of England and all the territories and North America, and he's King of Israel, and he has all the money that has been put into the Treasury. He's taken over Buckingham Palace, and now he is also Pope of Christ, according to the Pope, and he's Christ. This guy has it going on, okay? So now we'll just take a little bit of a look at Lent this year. What the Pope did is, when he was certifying that King John III is actually the Pope of Christ, he shut the whole world down for Lent. Okay? It's Lent. So this coronavirus lockdown during Lent, at the time of Lent, was just so that all of the nations that acknowledged Joseph Gregory Hallett as the Christ and as the King of England were showing that they were in full support of this. So all the countries that went into lockdown were showing the support of the new crown. So that meant just to let this guy be acknowledged and move into position, we all had to go under house arrest, lose our businesses, lose our jobs, lose our finances, go hungry. Isn't it? It's amazing. Okay, I'm letting a little sarcasm out. So now I want you to hear this. Joseph Gregory Hallett, the Christ, owns everything of the Vatican. The Pope abdicated his title of Vicar of Christ. So what this actually means is that this one person, this one guy, comes out of obscurity, and he is Joseph Gregory Hallett the Christ, owner and king of the world. The Pope and 350 members of the Vatican are under arrest and charged and under license. The Pope has been sent away under guard at his holiday residence. He doesn't have to go to jail. The Queen doesn't have to go to jail. They don't have to sit in the Tower of London getting served, hot dogs and potato chips. They get to sit at their multi-million-dollar residences and enjoy themselves. But the Pope is not in the Vatican. He is under guard, and this is what Trump meant when he said we're going to drain the swamp. Joseph Gregory Hallett speaks of how the Royal Navy, and this is just for fun, came to him after the announcement to the Royal Navy that he was now the new king, complaining that they were so tired of carrying all the Queen's heroin around from port to port to port that their major task was not protecting England but transferring heroin for the Queen's never-ending, insatiable greed. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and recap a little bit here. Joseph Gregory Hallett, King John III, has claimed his true and rightful position as King of the United Kingdom and all of its territories, including taking all power, enabling the fall of the royal family. And that doesn't just mean the royal family of England, but it could very well mean the royal families around the globe because he owns the world. We'll see. We'll wait and see what it means. But it is to take power over the cabal, the deep state, the elite, the corrupt politicians, the executives, the pedophiles, the pedivores, and Hollywood itself. That's why we're seeing executives stepping down. It's why we're seeing people going underground. It's why we're hearing that some people have gone to, I can't think of it, over in Cuba. What is that? Guantanamo, what do you got? Anyways, and that the TV now is running on all of, no new shows or shows that were previously recorded or movies that are coming out that were previously made, but nothing new is happening because allegedly all these players are being taken down and or are being moved underground. Okay? So a transition of power is happening, and it is happening through the gates of hell, just so you all know. But the transitioning is happening. So the gates of hell, Bill Gates, it's everything that they do, and all their names and everything is such great symbology. So Bill Gates is suddenly really in the forefront over the last couple of years with his vaccine and all sorts of things, and it is stating that we're moving from one hell's gate to the next hell's gate. Of course, a lot of people aren't going to see that, but it's important that we do. We are transitioning into the new nesara, gesara enfoldment under the pretense that the Great Awakening is happening. Again, elimination of debt reset, elimination of income tax, freedom of freeing up free energy, cure of freeing up all the patents as well, cure for all diseases. They're going to put in new accurate history books. Does not mean that it's going to be accurate, but they are stating that they're going to do new accurate history books, and they're going to unseal the hidden truths allegedly that have been kept from from humanity. Okay, and I'm going to say this is all to a degree alleged. We are seeing some people are saying that some of their debts are being erased now. Why some people are being chosen, maybe it's just an incremental thing. I don't know, but it's going to get people excited, and it's going to move people onto the side of the new system coming in. All right. So we must be clear here. Joseph Gregory Hallett does not claim to just be King John III or the new King of England. He himself, through his own words, is claiming that he is, in fact, the Messiah, the Christ. And he is, along with Trump and the old regime, is declaring that this man is the Messiah, the Christ himself. So he is fully supported in that globally. Now, as many people know, I am not religious at all, and I don't go to the Bible, and I don't believe in the Bible as a religious tool. I, however, do believe in the Bible as a historical tool. I believe it's a lineage tool for all of Caesar's lines and Cleopatra's lines and all the lines that have come in. They've written in their ledger about who they are. They've also all played Shakespeare and written in their little playwrights and everything else to bring in all this with it. But also they have written in there prophetically. So they've written in their lineage, they've written in their biography, they've written in autobiography, but they've also written in prophetic information, because and it's not that they prophesied, it's that they wrote the script out. So the Bible is a script of the past and a script of the future. So I want to take a look at the script of the future, which is presently happening at this point. We have been in it for a while, is the book of Revelations. Okay? So in the book of Revelations, the first white horseman, it's the first horseman to come forward out of the apocalypse. And I want to remind everybody, the apocalypse does not mean the Armageddon and the absolute end of the world and total world destruction. It could mean that if we align to that, but it also could mean the great unveiling, the great revelation, letting things out, letting all the knowledge come clear of what's really happening, right? So that's truly what apocalypse means. It could be the Armageddon, meaning we could be an absolute dismantling of the old guard to bring in the new guard. So again, with the players that run the world, they tend to talk not just in one layer, but they tend to talk in multiple layers and multiple levels. So the first white horseman is the man of lawlessness, the man of lawlessness, the beast, the Antichrist. Now hold on. When you read the documents that I spoke of closely, it does show in some part of the documents, it states that the Queen and the Pope together birthed a son. And if that is true, that son would contain the perfect DNA for the Antichrist, because the Queen and the Pope run on the first beast satanic system. I'm just going to throw that out there. So on April 10th, 2020, Donald Trump says to the country in a live in front of the country, he said, "And I only hope to God it's the right decision. But I will say without question, it's the biggest decision I will ever have to make." When he said that, it was not about opening up the economy again. He was prefacing it as if it was, but it was not. It was about the change of the guards from the Queen to the new king. And allegedly the ending of the Treaty of Hague from 1720, so ending the enslavement to the monarchy, okay? But it's still bringing in a new king. All right, so now when the Pope affirmed and certified that Joseph Gregory Hallett was indeed the Christ, as I said, every country then closed down to usher in their new king, and it was their way of signing in their allegiance to the new rising Christ. Corona, meaning crown. And just quickly, without religiosity, although some verbiage will sound like religion, but I do not mean it as religion. You can find this on Google. You can Google the characteristics of the Antichrist. But if we were to go over this and just do an audio or discussion on just this alone, we could break all this down, bring it out of religion, and just look at it. Because what they did is they took all this verbiage that is lineage, it is titles, it is concepts, it's laws, it's maneuvering, it's all these different parts and plays and parcels and all sorts of things that they put together in a collective collage of energetic frequency and the way they operate, who they are, what their leadership is, what their dynamics are, and then they took those words, threw them in the Bible, so it makes it sound like it's religious, but it's not religious. It's part of their play. All right? Okay, so the characteristics of the Antichrist are, 1, claims to be a god and thus will be worshipped as one. We just see that Joseph Gregory Hallett has now claimed that he is the Christ. All right. 2, he will blaspheme God. But just by claiming you are God is a blasphemy. Okay, I'm going to stop putting my thoughts into it. Okay, so 1, claims to be God in his worship. 2, he will blaspheme God. 3, he will display miraculous powers. Okay, I'll input my thoughts on that. Think of DARPA. Think of holograms. Think of how they've already done the hologram of Pope Francis at the window, holograms of different things going on in the sky. Lots of holograms are already in play, but around this person, they're going to be playing a lot of DARPA holograms. They're going to be doing a lot of Project Bluebeam around him to expose that he has miraculous powers. Just be aware of that. 4, the Antichrist comes back to life that he has, if this is true, that this guy is Antichrist. 5, the Antichrist rules in absolute authority. 6, the Antichrist will control global world economy. What just happened? All the money from everywhere was just taken back and reabsorbed into the treasury. 7, the Antichrist desecrates all religion temples. 8, the Antichrist attempting to destroy Israel or all holy land. 9, causes earth, and by the way, all land is holy, okay? 9, causes earth's armies to fight against Christ. And 10, notice, causes earth's armies to fight against Christ. Notice that suddenly we have all these different places around the United States that are police officers or Antifa or white nationalists, etc., that are going in and starting these riots or looking like riots are going on when the people aren't even involved. This is the way they want to activate the earth's armies to fight against the new Christ. And 10, final destiny in the lake of fire, meaning fire. Fire all over the world. Okay. I just want to say this is like a little footnote that, no, actually I'm not going to do that. Let me continue. All right, Joseph Gregory Hallett talks about how he will ride in his carriage and wave, and the palace to be painted for him. He is actually talking about colors. So is he talking about the color of horses that will lead him, the white horses? So when it's time for him to step out as king of the world, we'll just see what color horses he uses. If a true Christ existed, as in the Christos energy frequency, because most Christians, they believe the Son of Christ was a man who came to earth, God came to earth, and the Son of Christ, blah, blah, blah. We know the story, don't have to repeat it. But the reality is Christ was always a king and ran through a lineage of Cleopatra, as well Mary Magdalene also ran through a royal lineage of the House of Orange, and so on and so forth. So if you look up all these players and really do the research on the history of Christ, Joseph, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, etc., you will find that they were all part of the royal blue blood family line. what people really don't realize is that there is Christos energy frequency, and that is what we call the Christ, or what we believe that the Christ is. But the Christ is a king. And the Christos energy, the golden energy, the energy of the divine source, the prime creator, whatever you want to call it, the Holy Spirit, it doesn't matter, It is the Christos energy frequency. And that Christos energy frequency, the one that is of the divine source, prime creator, it does not rule or own the earth. You say, but it created the earth. Well, it may have, I don't know. I believe that it did. However, I'm just saying that it does not rule or own the earth. So it would not come back as flesh to the earth. Okay? And also I want to take note that there is and has been no terminology used in the past of anything called the Christian mystery lineage. That's a new terminology being made up, and for the people that don't know, or the dumbed-down masses, or those that are not of religious persuasion, will not know that that has just been newly made up. Okay, so let's take a look at the Bible a little bit more closely. He is, and will behold a white horse, and he had a bow and a, no, hold on. I can't read my writing. He is, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on him had a bow and a crown, and would be given unto him. Insert the corona. He will be given unto him the corona, the crown. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And in the 6th chapter of Revelations, Jesus Christ opens a prophetic scroll sealed in 7 places and says, behold, a white horse, the crowned a laurel wreath. A laurel wreath is the ancient symbol of a conquering victor. Remember, Pope was victor of Christ. This horseman is often confused with the returning Christ described in chapter 19 of Revelations. The returning Christ is dressed in a white robe, stained with blood, wearing multiple crowns, the Greek diadems, not a laurel wreath. And he's accompanied by angelic beings on white horses, and his weapon is the sword of his mouth, not a bow. And the first of the 4 horsemen represents the counterfeit, the false Messiah. Back when Jesus Christ allegedly existed, the disciples asked, what will be the sign of your coming? Christ said, quote, take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many, especially those of the New Age Christian phenomenon. No, he didn't say that, I said that. But those will deceive, and that will deceive many. And what Jesus said here parallels the first broken seal in the book of Revelation, and he clearly identifies with the white horse and his rider, people who will claim to be the Christ. But honestly and truly, as this is happening, the New Agers, the light workers, and those of the Christian and even Jewish phenomenon may just believe, because remember, the Jewish people are waiting for their Messiah to come, right? And the Christian people are waiting for the second coming. But all will be false messiahs, and men who are counterfeit, pretending to be Christ. And the counterfeit white horsemen will continue as false messiahs to ride until they are vanquished by the true Christ as his true coming, but not by or of this world. The disciples privately asked of Christ, what will be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus said, take heed that no man deceive you. Many shall come in my name, and if any man shall say, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. And there will be rise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, so much that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And if they say, if he is in the desert, then do not go forth. And behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. For as the lightning cometh of the east, shineth even unto the west, so shall also coming the Son of Man be. And when you see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with powers and great glory, but that which is not of Project Bluebeam. So what I'd like to say in conclusion to all of this massive information is such that what will look to be, what's already happening is in play. And what will look to be like a most profound, glorious thing, that all of our debts will be forgiven and our income taxes will stop, and that we will be freed up to live our lives free and cured from all diseases, and knowing all the true historical whatever, it all looks really great on the superficial level, on that fundamental day-to-day survival grind level, that this guy and Trump and Putin and the players in this change of guards is truly from God, from a divine source creator. And I would say that there are certain people on the planet that have been born here to be the voice that says in the darkness, do not believe any of it. And I'm one of them. Not to say that I'm anybody great and wonderful. I'm just saying I'm one person that's going to tell you that. So I did a previous call-in audio, which I no longer have, but I talked about the first beast. There's a first beast system, and that is, again, it's not religious terms, it's the terms that they use. So we're going to call a spade a spade. It's the satanic system. And that's what's been running the show. You could say demons, or you can say archons, the archonic energy. And that archonic energy is all about the running of the government throughout the ages, monarchy and anarchists, all of this stuff going on. Okay, and I think I've done an article on that already. What archon actually means, or arc. Okay, so that's the old arc frequency, which arc also is electrical. It is an electrical arc. Okay, electrical is energy and frequency, electromagnetic, L for elites, L for Elohim, L for electricity, L for arc. Okay, so it all coincides with energetic frequency, and they are coding and telling you this is not about flesh in and of itself, it's about energetic frequency. So the old frequency, the old arc, the demonic satanic frequency, first beast system, has now been replaced by the second beast system. And the second beast system comes under King John III and all that support his taking over as King of England. It would be one thing for somebody to come in and say, hey, I'm King of England now and I'm taking over the monarchy. But it's another thing to come in and say, I'm taking over this monarchy and all that it includes, plus I'm spreading it out to the Commonwealth of North America as well, so I have ownership, plus I'm also King of Israel, plus I have now the Pope and all of Catholicism has abdicated itself into me, therefore I'm Pope the Christ, therefore I now am the vicar of Christ, so I'm Christ, I'm King, I have all the money in the treasury, I have all possession of money, and I have all possession of all lands around the world, so I one single human being now owns the world is such a red flag of the most profound narcissistic, psychopathic, I don't even know how that falls under ego, that it could never be of that which is the Christos energy or frequency, which is of love, and love is of generosity and charity, and therefore would never, ever suppose itself to be a king of anything, okay? So that's number one. So please be aware of that. The nesara gesara world laws, though it will be constitutional laws or land laws, does not preclude that humanity will not be enslaved. It just means that it will be a different kind of enslavement. And that enslavement, the trajectory of the new or second beast system is the AI slash robotic slash transhumanism system. That's what is coming in. That is the Antichrist. I am going to go ahead and presume that any person could be drawn out of the white rabbit hat, thrown in and said this person is this person and of this lineage, and then write this whole new historical value that states that the only person to be king of England is the Christ lineage. You know, words are words, and they cast spells, but that doesn't mean that it's truth, and it doesn't mean it's reality. So I have watched this guy be interviewed, and I could say with absolute confidence in the first 5 minutes of watching him, if you have any kind of critical mind, critical eye, the ability to watch body language, the ability to hear tones, the ability to watch everything that's going on, this guy is a puppet. He has no there is no frequency or energy around him that says to me this is anybody of the Christ anyhow. But this is a puppet, and he is being put into position to activate this whole new paradigm. But people like Trump and Putin and Bannon and all of these other players that are sitting in the shadows and have been are activating the second beast system, which is the Luciferian system. And again, don't think of it in religiosity. Think of it as terminology that they operate under. So you've got Satan, the satanic system, and you've got the Luciferian system. What's going to happen is nothing's going to happen to the satanic system. They're not going to rule anymore with ultimate power, but they are going to be integrated. So they're not going away. They're just going to be integrated into the new system. And so the Luciferian system is all going to be about the Gates of Hell vaccine. It's going to be about the RFID 2020 chip. It's going to be about continuing the chemtrail program upon us in any possible way to continue getting the bodies of all humans and animals alike filled with the nanobot technology. And then once the vaccine is being forced onto the people, which does not mean that you're sovereign. It means that you are even more enslaved when you don't even have your physical sovereignty to choose what you want in your body. And as they have brought forward the genetically modified food system, the reason why they've created the genetically modified foods is because the genetically modified human will no longer have need for fresh nutrition and bountiful food of the earth. The new transhuman human will only need a little bit of food source, because once you take the new vaccine, which is an RNA vaccine, which totally different, none that we've ever taken before, when we take the self-replicating vaccine, what is inside of our bodies that's self-replicating requires well, first of all, it creates the human organism to become a genetically modified organism. Okay, so this RNA vaccine, once taken, is a replicating vaccine, creating the human biology to become a genetically modified organism with constant self-replication, a nanobot technology inside of it, and all its nutrition needs to be is more genetically modified organisms to feed it, okay, to keep it strong. It will not need food source. That's why this is happening. And then through the nanotechnology bot system inside the body, along with the RFID chip that's going to be tattooed onto the body, we will be virtually owned by the Antichrist, or the beast system. So whatever the beast system was prior to, the first beast system, as horrible as it was to keep all of us enslaved in war and bloodshed and that sort of thing, it is nothing. It has nothing on what's coming. A nightmare is coming, and and it's here. And if people don't really gather together at this time and rise up together in groups like ours, expanding our group, and the Rising to Love call-in group, and merging together, bringing our thoughts together, finding solutions together, activating solutions, being the solution, then we will succumb to the second beast system. And in that, I will just say that the vaccine will not be tolerated by most people, if not all people, with the positive at the end of the blood type. So only that the people that have negative at the end of the blood type. So if you have O, A, B, or AB blood type, and it has positive, you will die. And at the very worst, actually, because dying would be the grace, if at the very worst, if you didn't die, you would have your autoimmune system so shattered, you will have autism, to the point so that the autism is something that they relish and want, because out of an autistic being still have prodigy, they still have their mind, but they don't have access to verbalizing. Therefore, it makes them no better than an animal according to this beast system, and therefore they could be turned into transhuman super soldiers with the prodigy energy in them for entertainment and all sorts of things. So, autism is well desired, okay, for enslaved beings, and the rest of and anybody that is of a negative or an RH factor comes from these bloodlines that are in previous existence, so they will know who these people are, and it just gets bigger than what I know for sure. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to end this audio now. I want to thank you all for coming and listening to it. I want to thank all the members of my group, Rising to Love, for coming, for showing up on the calls, for listening to me, and for participating by sharing your own thoughts and points of view. And for any new people that want to share in a group vision of dreaming in a new dream, participating in creating a new world, being a higher collective of solutions, and being dependable and showing up every Sunday on time at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with not just truthing, just passing around information, but got to have a spiritual and a heart that's activated and a spirit mind that's ready to do the work and step forward. Have our souls step forward. So please just contact me in Messenger and let me know. I'm going to close this audio, and I thank you all. And I thank you, a special shout out to my two sisters, Anne and Diamond Lee, for being here with me to do this recording. All right. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.